We're all ready.
Thank you. Okay, we're going to call the Sullivan County Funding Corp meeting to order. Julio, roll call, please.
Sure, Ms. Laughlin.
Here.
Ms. Laughlin's present, Mr. Sykes.
Here.
Mr. Sykes is present, Ms. Wright.
Here.
Ms. Wright is present, Mr. Gunter.
I'm here.
Mr. Gunter present, Mr. Malone.
Yep.
Mr. Malone present, Ms. Larry.
Here.
Ms. Larry is present. Mr. Siegel, Mr. Smith, and Mr. Prince are absent.
The first item on our agenda is to approve the meeting minutes of June 12, special meeting. Can I have a motion to approve? Ed, second Carol, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay. Bills and communications, we have, go ahead, Dan.
We have no, none of either. We have no payments to approve today and no communications.
Okay. And the quarterly financial report is also in our packet. I don't think there were any surprises there either. Is there anything you want to point out to us?
No, everything is pretty steady. Well, you can see our net position is down by about $100,000, and that's because we made the $100,000 installment payment to Sullivan Catskills Regional Food Hub Inc. last quarter, and that was in accordance with the agreement that we have with them. So that's as expected.
So when we're talking now about the revolving loan funds coming in from the county for the funding court, so does that become like, will then become part of our,
We've
Financials.
pulled the loan funds out of these financials.
okay,
But you get separate reports on the loan
Right.
funds from Julio.
okay,
And I don't know how we'll integrate the other. That'll be up to John and Julio, assuming it happens.
just think it'd be helpful to see at any given point in time, like how the money's going out.
Yeah,
That would be,
what we were asked to do, I'm gonna say 3 years ago, is don't bother me with the ones that are on time, just report the ones that are delinquent, which is what Julio's been doing.
no, that part is fine, but what I'm saying is I think, like, it's always, like, just like when we asked Marianne how much of that money's been lent, like, I think it's important to know that the money's working, doing something, so.
Well, what I do is I prepare presently a monthly board report. In that report, I indicate the balances in the fund that are not loaned,
Mhm.
the loans that are outstanding. And any delinquencies or
Exactly.
problems with delinquencies and deals that are up for approval. And then the separate category of deals that are approved that haven't been closed yet.
Well, I think we're gonna take the same approach though as we do now, where our loan committee approves them. And then not the full board, in other words.
So right now, our guidelines require board approval. We have waited to
Right.
rewrite our guidelines until the county makes a decision.
Right,
Because things like the maximum loan size would likely increase. If we have
Have more
one
money.
loan fund instead of two.
Mhm.
So Jen and I have gone over what would be her recommendation, and her recommendation would be that. We report to the full board loans that have been approved by the committee.
Yeah.
But that the committee, which is John and Howard and Paul. Would have the authority to approve the loans. We would close on the loans and not have to wait for a board meeting like
Right.
today. Because now we're gonna have 3 closings this week. We could have closed on these in the past. And these are, 2 of these 3 borrowers are very anxious to close.
I think that's fine, and I think, but getting the report, just like Jen submits a report, just give us a report,
Yeah.
so we know what happened in the prior month, I think would be great. Like what you described, John. Okay. So we have one item of new business, which is the grant application for the cost share fund. Can someone tell us about that?
So this is the fund that the board set up back in 2015 to assist businesses and communities by offsetting a portion of their costs of preparing professional grant applications. And it was largely in response, I think, to the CFA process, and we saw Sullivan County wasn't being very successful in getting CFA awards. So we've had this program in place for a number of years. Just wanted to mention to you that we've made 2 cost share approvals this year, one to assist CFA application for Holiday Mountain and the other for Catskill Explorer, which is a rail excursion. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's a group that is looking to do a passenger rail study to extend passenger rail service from Port Jervis to Hancock. And so they're looking for a
Okay,
technical
great.
assistant.
So those have been approved. I don't think we've spent out the funds yet, but we would assume that we will. And assuming that those funds are expended, we are about out of money for this year in the fund. So if the board wishes to allocate additional funds to the cost share fund, could do that. There are no pending proposals or applications for cost share funds before us right now. The CFA deadline is at the end of July. We might get.
Are we getting the word? Do you think people know this money's there to help?
I think,
How do we get?
well, no, I think that the people knowing is not as important as the consultants know. I mean, the
Yeah.
consultants know.
Do they?
Yeah, oh, yeah.
That rail study, by the way, because you mentioned 2 points that don't start or end in Sullivan, right? Is Hancock Sullivan?
No, it's at the end of Sullivan. It passes
Is it-
through all
is
the
it-
little towns on the
Right,
way.
but will it stop, or is it like one of these things like from point A to point B, neither of which is in Sullivan County?
It's just,
That's why they're doing this stuff.
yeah.
Right, because I hope that, no,
Right.
seriously,
The president of the group is Irene Nikolai from Calhoun. She owns
Okay.
the Western Hotel, and John is on the board.
I'm on the committee, so
Okay.
I'm very up to speed with what they're doing. It is going to stop
all right.
at all the small towns.
The travel would cross at Narrowsburg and, yeah,
Okay.
so beyond the Pennsylvania side from Port Jervis.
The big hurdle is the railroad.
Yeah,
They don't want passenger service. I mean,
It's
I've
not a money
inquired
maker.
about this for the last 25
It's
years.
not a moneymaker.
They do not want it. They don't want the liability
liability.
and they're scared half to death of it. So your biggest hurdle, if you're gonna get the project, I'm not saying it wouldn't be a good project if it worked, but
Stating
you- the truth is, I mean, I've talked to these people. I mean, both as a supervisor and as a businessman in town.
Mhm.
Well, it would have to be subsidized because spares won't cover anything.
Well,
There's not enough people.
No,
yeah,
like transit,
but
all
there-
transit is subsidized.
their attitude was, we just don't want to talk about it. You know, so just so that you know, that's the biggest hurdle.
Maybe it'll go away then, until we talk about it.
Yeah,
Well, it's really more
okay, so
complicated.
We don't
is
have
there
to do anything.
something we need to do, Jen,
There's
or?
nothing you need to do because there's no pending request for any money. But if they do get pending requests, you'll have to replace.
For the next year.
Well, the CFA deadline is at the end of the month and. we
And I don't
typically
think
get-
anybody should hold their breath.
We get requests typically around a week before it's
And
due.
how much is the amount that someone could get from us?
There is no.
There's no upper
There's no
limit,
maximum?
but we have to approve the contract with the consultant.
Right, but are you saying there's no money in the fund to do it, or
Right, there's no money
For
in the fund to
additional.
do it.
We have.
now? So if someone comes to us now and says, we have this great idea, we'd like to get it in July, by the end of the month, we would say no?
Unless the board authorizes.
We'd have to get them creative.
Well, I don't know, I'm just wondering, don't we have other money that we can put
We do,
into
yeah,
that?
but as needed.
Who's gonna authorize it if we don't?
Well, that's what I'm saying, so should we be moving a little money in there now in case, or no?
It's
No,
up to you.
Well, I don't know.
why would we do it without, you know?
Yeah,
We don't need much lead time to do it. Is my
I
understanding.
don't know, I'm hearing that we won't be able to do it.
Well,
this
We can
year.
always approve- we can always approve it and then, ask next month.
we can fund it. once we approve
Money
it.
for
Same- We can do it at the
railroad
same time,
operation.
really.
We're gonna do a lot more work.
Oh, no, not for that, but this is just fund and study.
Right.
This is a funding of the study, and I'm assuming there's some partners in there that are gonna also fund this study.
This is funding, an application to get state funding for.
This is not,
For the study, got it.
this is to beg for money.
Got it, got it. Okay, good luck with that.
We're not ready for that.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, so anything more on this, Jen?
No,
Just to be clear, you're funding a portion of that grant, right? You're
the committee approved a cost share
correct.
for the Catskill Explorer to apply for CFA funds. So they're hiring a grant.
So we already
writer
did that.
to-
This
committee,
rail
yeah,
one,
that's right.
right, the rail one is already approved, I got it.
You just don't have any new requests
Right.
for this cycle, this.
More money to fund those
Yeah.
requests.
Right,
But
right.
it's a little late in the cycle for someone to be.
Is it too late to think that someone will come forward at this point? Okay.
If somebody's coming forward now in this cycle, they're really behind the eight.
Yeah.
Not a
I
good
would think.
sign.
But Julio, didn't you say that they sometimes wait till a week before?
Typically, we apply a week before.
When is
I take it back.
I think it's July 28th.
So we're getting there.
So we just wanted to mention to you all that
Okay.
there's.
Well, if some spectacular project comes through in the next few days, let us know. We have to regroup.
We're always available for spectacular
Yes,
projects.
correct.
Yeah.
Spectacular.
As long as they're railroad.
Other than railroads.
Right.
Okay.
Subsidized railroad.
So we'll now move to public comment. Does any member of the public want to comment? Hearing none, we have motion to adjourn.
Make a motion?
Kathleen, second Paul, all in favor, say aye. Okay, we are adjourned. We now have one last meeting, right? The LDC?